Hi everybody, Dave here from Memorial Style Tarot. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about the tarot cards and the zodiac signs and how they fit into the cards. What I find interesting in my own deck, since you all know that I've created my own deck, when I was creating them, I remember distinctly remembering that there was 12 thrones throughout the cards. But I didn't really think much about them and I didn't really want to do anything with them, but I drew the thrones and I put the appropriate people on them. And as it turns out, when it came around to learning the personality traits of the kings and queens, that was one of the more difficult things for me to do in those earlier days when I was first learning cards. And what is the personality of that particular card? And why is it that it's confused with all this other king? These two kings are confused, even though there's mythology that goes along with them. There's distinct categories that that's in their dominion. I still had a little bit more of a difficult time with it. And so I had an intuitive thought that came to me just the other day, and to simply bring in the zodiac signs. And so it was this intuitive aha moment with regard to the thrones that I'd created and the zodiac. And so I was going to do that for you here. And for the people that have signed up on my website, you're already going to see the deeper meanings there. I've added them in, I put them in the database so that when you click on a card, you'll get to see these the signs associated with these particular people. But before I go too much farther, basically in my deck, let's bring up the cards. So I'm going to go to the website, bring up the cards, and you get the images of all the cards there. And if you notice, here we have the High Priestess sitting on a throne. We have the Emperor sits on the throne. We have the Hierophant sits on a throne. And then if we scroll a little bit farther, we have Justice that sits on the throne. And when you look throughout the cards, you'll see that other places where people are sitting, they're sitting on benches, like in the Four of Cups or in the Nine of Cups. The thrones are reserved for royalty. So they generally associate with the kings and queens for all the suits. And so when you think about that, there's 8 signs for the kings and queens. And then there's 4 more left over. And so the other 4 are up in the major arcana. Together, we have 12. And then when you go and look at the traditional meanings for the different cards, what you're going to find is that the signs, you're probably going to find that the signs that have instinctively come to me are going to be something that you're going to resonate with. You'll probably find that this seems to fit in the cards. And so the first one we want to look at is Aries. And when you look at Aries, we basically have the King of Swords. And that King of Swords happens to be that courageous leader, the one that is basically going to act and go do things fairly quickly. This could be a Mars type energy. It's mental, it's strategist. And we look at the second one, which is Taurus, which is going to be the King of Cups, which is a little bit more sensual energy, which is grounded, earthy, enjoying the finer things in life. The next one, we're going to go to Gemini. Gemini being the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is somebody that is going to be able to be witty, be able to do a bunch of things all at the same time. We go to the High Priestess, that a lot of people will relate to the moon, but we're going to relate it to Cancer here. Cancer being the emotion, somebody that's a little bit more reserved with regards to how they show their emotions. You've got to work to get at it. The next one's going to be the King of Wands. The King of Wands is that natural born leader. Leo, the showman, is going to be somebody that's courageous. And the next one, we're going to have the Queen of Coins. And the Queen of Coins is the Virgo. And she's the one that's more meticulous about what she's doing. She's the one that thinks her ideas are the right way to do things, and quite often they are. And it will, when you look at the other details associated with the card, you'll find that archetype fits. The next one we're looking at is Libra. Libra goes to Justice in the cards. And that is that drive to find balance in your life. We have the Emperor. The Emperor is going to be the Scorpio. The Scorpio, when you look at the definitions for my cards, you'll find that it has to do with the cause and effect. And so here we have the strategist that knows what it wants in life, but is willing to wait for it to come along, come to it in life. The next one which is going to be Sagittarius, is going to be the Hierophant. The Hierophant is in Sagittarius is going to be that freedom-loving, adventurous type of person. The King of Coins. The King of Coins is going to be Capricorn, and Capricorn is that very determined, stick-with-it type of person that's going to plod along and make sure things happen. He's going to be successful because he's going to continue to follow that successful path. The Queen of Swords is going to be Aquarius, the water bearer, and she's the one that is fairly rigid in her ways, the way she approaches things. She's open to changes in theory, but not in her opinion. And we have, finally, is going to be the Queen of Cups, which is going to be Pisces, which is that wishy-washy, that ultra-sensitive type of person, which again kind of fits into the descriptions I've already given these cards. And so one of the things that I find when I'm using these now is that when I scroll down and I find one of the cards, so for instance, we'll look at Pisces. So we're going to go to the Queen of Cups. And when we look at the Queen of Cups, we're going to see that so I modify the code so that the first thing that comes up is going to be the Zodiac sign, whereas the second one would be the other fish that's on the card, the major fish that's there. And so here we find that Pisces is intuitive, dreamy, artistic, humane, sympathetic, etc., etc. Lots of the key words that go with it. And they easily identify with all types of people. They are split between yearning for understanding or being in a state of divine content. This is the dreamer, the person with a deep love for humanity and compassion that has no bounds. They love art, music, teaching, drama, healing, arts. They're overflowing with great insight and creativity, etc., etc. So that the meaning here now, we can take the understanding that you already have with Pisces, and when you flip over this particular card, you know that this is the Pisces archetype. So it doesn't necessarily have to be simply the beautiful woman that comes into your life that's highly sensitive. It can be simply that Pisces person that comes along. So it opens up the cards just a little bit more. So rather than simply being the key words that Tarot has come along and identified with this card, we now go in a little bit deeper to find that deeper archetype. So if you're looking for a richer meaning, some cards go and find archetypes with mythology. Classically, I'm looking at it here as saying, okay, there's this whole astrology side of things too. When you go to the reverse side, so now we go to Pisces and we find that, we get the sides of Pisces that are a little bit more detached, a little bit more isolated. So we have the escapist, weak-willed, oversensitive, pessimistic, lazy. So in this case, this person can relate to almost anyone and be compassionate without bounds, yet still come across as wishy-washy. They are highly sensitive to the criticism of others and can be deeply hurt by compassionless human behavior. A person has a really hard time saying no, or might find that they take pleasure in suffering. So this is the woe is me type of personality. So taking Pisces to that inharmonious side of things, so we get both aspects here in the card. So when you flip this card over, whether Pisces is upright or Pisces is reversed, we get to see that archetype in its worst situation or in its best. And so basically I wanted to share that with you. And for all of you that have signed up on the website, you're basically going to be able to see this richer meaning here. And so what's cool about this is that when we go looking at it, when you flip over the cards, you're going to find that when you've been struggling with regards to which card has that particular personality trait with it, you're probably going to find that what you already know about astrology, what you already know about the Zodiac signs is going to fall right in place with these cards. It's going to open up a whole new realm of how you interpret these cards. Anyway, I want to make that short and basically just introduce you to the thrones in my tarot deck. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, get a hold of me through the website. I will talk to you soon.